All right, what is going on, guys? Happy Sunday. We've got the NLCS kicking off tonight around 8:15 p.m. We've got the Mets at the Dodgers. Should be an interesting game. But before we get into that, guys, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're chasing 400 subs. And I put out my NFL video last night, so make sure you guys go check that out. But let's get into this one. One game today. All right. Kodai Senga going up against Jack Flaherty. Senga has only thrown one game against the Dodgers, and that was back in 2023. Went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. That only earned run was a home run for the Mets, making their first NLCS since 2015. It has been a hot minute. Really, if we look on the other side of the hill, we got Jack Flaherty on the bump. Not a lot against this team. He's got 2 starts against the Mets. That was when he was with the Cardinals back in 2019. So not a lot to go off of. Jesse Winker's 8 for 21 versus Flaherty. Marte is 3 for 22. It's really all we've got in terms of ABs for the Mets. So not a lot of action. They haven't seen him a lot, so it should be kind of interesting. If we look at Flaherty, he did throw against the Padres on the 6th of October. Wasn't too good. 5.1 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs. We've really seen, Flaherty since he's moved over to this Dodgers team, especially at home. Like he's pretty much like 2 to 4 earned runs. That's pretty much where he has been almost every start. Now, I think the Dodgers have the advantage offensively. I think they just have more firepower. If you go through their lineup, they are just stout from top to bottom. Whereas if you look at the Mets, there's definitely an offensive drop-off as you get towards the bottom of that order. I think from a bullpen advantage, the Dodgers have a very clear advantage. If we just look at the series versus the Padres in the NLDS, they held the Padres scoreless for 22 straight innings. The bullpen has been very, very good. So I do give them the advantage there, especially later in the game. I just don't necessarily trust this Mets bullpen. There's some arms I don't trust. I don't trust Diaz if it comes down to them having the lead in the 9th inning. If you guys know, I'm a Reds fan, and his brother is the closer there as well. A lot of common tendencies about walking the first batter, being a little erratic with control. We saw that when they were trying to clinch in the last series. It got real interesting real quick. So how do I see this game playing out? It's the first game. They've had some off days. The Mets went through that crazy travel schedule. They finally got to go back home in the Philly series. Now they got to travel cross country. I expect them to come out a little flat. That's just kind of how I see this happening. The Dodgers have been home, kind of the same thing. Didn't have to travel, and they've played more recently than the Mets. So less off days. I just think we see a little bit of rust on the Mets' part. The pitch splits for Kodai Senga don't look great, right? There's the fastball 40% of the time. Dodgers are basically the best team hitting that. He throws a splitter sinker type pitch. Dodgers are the best at hitting that. The curveball, they're top 3. So basically, this guy throws 5 pitches, so he is a 5-pitch pitcher. That said, he really doesn't throw the curveball much, 1.4% of the time. The Dodgers are just an absolute beast offensively, and they do very well against his pitch mitch. Now, that said, we shouldn't see Senga long. He went 2 innings in his last outing. Could we see him maybe stretch to 3-4 innings? Yeah, I think he goes longer than 2 innings for sure. I think he gets his Ks, right? His K props at 2.5. I love the over. There's good value to take that. But at the end of the day, like I said, once we get to this Mets bullpen, I think it's a bit of a letdown spot. I think the Dodgers are just too good offensively. But, Flaherty's been giving up some runs, so I do expect him to get hit. Right? He's been throwing 213 against lefties over the last 30 days, 286 against righties. Senga, for me, another thing working against him is just his mix. He is a fly ball pitcher. 78% of his outs via the fly ball. Now, it's a very small sample size, but he's just historically been a fly ball pitcher. Flaherty, about 61% of his outs come via the fly ball. We've got the wind blowing out. It's going to be beautiful weather, 74 degrees. So, yeah, I just don't think I can shy away from taking the Dodgers. And in my opinion, the Dodgers are, in all likelihood, going to be the World Series champs. So the individual that said I was a Dodgers hater, I am not. I do think that they win this series ultimately. We'll go game by game. Yeah, I think it's going to be really hard to beat the Dodgers. You could look at, possibly a run line. It's a plus 136. I think it's very doable. I just kind of want to ease into this and see how things go. So we'll talk a little bit about the pitching report. We'll get into the best bet. So if you want to screenshot this, make some bets out of that, by all means, go ahead and do that. Park factors, plus 10% home run, right? Wind's blowing out. It's not going to be a crazy high wind, about 6 point, something miles an hour. We see runs minus 2%, home runs plus 10. So really pretty negated factors there. All right, best bets for today. What do I like? I like the Dodgers. Race to 3 or minus 120. Give me the Dodgers minus 1. You could go full run line minus 1.5. I just want to play it safe. We're just kind of dipping our toes into this first game of the series. I don't want to go super heavy. So we're going very light. Senga over 2.5 Ks. Like I said, I think he pitches, 3, maybe 4 innings. So should be able to hit this line. Like I said, maybe a little rust after a day off. We could see him just K the side here and knock this out right away. And then give me Mookie Betts over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Didn't have the best last series, so I just think he's due to have a very good game. He's under this in his last 2 games, so just more of a system play to me. Mookie is going to get his ABs. We know he's going to get 4, maybe 5 ABs, so I like this line a lot. Leans, not necessarily best, just looking at some leans. I like the Nerfy in this spot. Like I said, a little bit of rust, first game of the series. 2 pitchers that don't have a lot of familiarity against the opposing batters, so could definitely see a Nerfy situation. I would lean towards the over. If I had to pick a side, I would lean towards the over. Like I said, just I don't necessarily trust this Mets bullpen, and the Dodgers are just offensively extremely potent. So I would lean towards the over. Dodgers team total over 4.5. We already talked about Flaherty having some issues, giving up some runs, so all kind of leans towards the over to me. So that is where I am at in this, guys. So if you have comments, make sure you comment down below what's your favorite play. Maybe I missed something. Are you a Mets fan? Do you think the Mets are going to win? Let me know. Go check the football video out. We've got a little bit of time until the London game starts, so still got some time to get some bets in there. And I will catch you in the next video. Oh, speaking of, before I go, though, that Mets game, the Cleveland game, we didn't talk about the recap. Cleveland screwed us in the 5th. Scooble gave up a grand slam. So we absolutely sucked in that. So just want to go light, man. Playoff baseball is a little bit crazy. And when Clase came out and the Wild Thing song came on, if that didn't get you pumped, I don't think you're a baseball fan. Clearly, you're not a baseball fan. You don't know Major League. That was pretty damn awesome. All right. Just wanted to get that out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow.